So here's our window sticker. I always save my window stickers to get framed. So this is the MSRP of this base model Ioniq 136 mpge, which is fantastic. It's the most efficient current production electric vehicle in the market. And here's all the details for those of you that want to read all the included features. So it was assembled in Korea, and 91% of the parts are from Korea. Kind of interesting. Let's give it a look around here. This is the 2019 Hyundai Ioniq. It's in blue. It's almost a purplish blue. This is the base model EV version, not the plug-in hybrid or the standard. There's a limited trim. Limited trim adds something really important for the Northeast, which is a heat pump. So this has standard heat like your normal car has. With the heat pump that comes in the limited model, it uses far less electricity to heat it up in the wintertime. And now, if you guys don't know much about batteries, extreme colds will decrease the amount of battery life on a charge. It decreases the voltage because of extreme cold. And when you factor in a traditional heating element, it goes even lower. So we'll do some tests in the wintertime to see how that goes. The front has small little air induction right here. Very tiny. And this is completely solid. The base model uses LED daytime running lights in the bottom here. They look kind of interesting. But then up here is projector halogen for the, let's go ahead and turn these lights on, see how they look. It is daytime, so I'm not going to get much out of it. To lock it, you press this button. To unlock it, you press it again. Press it twice, and all of the doors unlock. So if you're nervous about someone breaking into your car at night when you're getting in by yourself, just press it one time. Keys in my pocket. There is nothing else but the fob. We're going to turn our hazards on. And we're going to turn our lights on, which I assume is, let's do the brights. There we go. Oh, seeing there's no key fob. There you go. Now it's on, and our high beams are on. So let's see how it looks. So we've got our turn signal indicators here. Very small, actually. These are our turn signals in the bottom with our projector halogens. I like how far out they are, though. That's pretty cool. Standard bulbs. Yeah, these are standard bulbs. Looks like they're standard size, too. So a upgrade could be really easy to get brighter turn signals. On the rear, 3 levels of regenerative braking. So your turn signals are red, not orange, which is a pet peeve of mine. I like orange turn signals. Let's get this off so we don't burn our battery down. Turn off the high beam and turn this off. Okay. Nice little ding there. It has a couple of things that are interesting about it. Regenerative braking is in eco mode is really strong. There's 3 levels of regenerative braking. There's a standard drive mode, a sport drive mode, and a eco drive mode. All those modes are configurable, which is kind of nice. But we just made it to the top of this hill, so when I left the charging station, it was 129. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. Miles. But another interesting feature is the drag coefficient. So it's actually the lowest drag coefficient of any production car out right now. And little things make that possible. Look at the wheels. The wheel design is very wind efficient, super lightweight wheels. 205 5516 wheels. If they were able to remove the mirrors and the door handles, it would make it even lower. But as it is, you've got a nice little splitter here, and you've got basically nothing at all on the front to make the wind pass by any harder. The limited model gets an upgrade to LED headlights or bi-xenons that have cornering ability, all kinds of stuff in the limited model. This is just kind of a rough overview of what this looks like. So let's open the trunk. There is no front. It actually has a motor in the front here. It's a hatchback-esque trunk. Pretty roomy. Got your charger here for your home, tire mobility kit, and a little luggage thing. This is not going to be an exhaustive review. Storage cubby there. This is just a kind of dicking around a little bit. Oh, sorry, I curse on this channel. Neat little guard here just to keep things clean. You've got these all the way down, which is kind of nice for visibility. I kind of like that. What's this? These are plugs to get access to this thing here, so you can unscrew this, take your housing out. You have to actually do a lot of work here. The rear camera is not covered like it is in the Volkswagens. It's going to get dirty in the wintertime and become basically useless. I like the split view here. Makes the rear visibility much nicer. Little shark fin there, which is always nice. Design cue. In the rear here, regular cheap, crappy plastic. Cheap cloth seats. Should be fairly easy to clean. This can drop down. A 60-40 split. Like that. Got this for the kitties with a couple more cup holders. Put your magazines in there. Not bad, right? So the passenger. Pretty solid door opening. More kind of cheap plastic here. From the driver's side window is one touch down. The rest of the windows you have to hold in order to get it down, which is kind of whatever. Now, what's interesting to me is you can get a lot of car now for $30,000 and up. What you're paying for in this car is you're paying for the electric components in the battery. You're not paying for anything special. And what I mean by that is there's no soft touch. It's hard plastic, cheap plastic door handles. I'm coming from German cars, and this kind of just feels like, you know, it's not very sound. You've got some piano black trim, which looks kind of nice. This looks like it's supposed to be a touchpad like the Mercedes and BMW has. No, it's fake. CarPlay and Android Auto, which are nice. This is a smaller display. The Limited has a larger display. I kind of like that you can do driver-only AC. That's pretty cool. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And let's check out the engine. Or, I'm sorry, it's not an engine. It's a motor. So to access that, this is going to be a two-handed job, but I'll do my best. You've got your pull right here. And again, for weight savings, they're trying to do as much as possible to increase your range. So in here, you've got a lever right there. There is no spring load. This just falls. So you've got to prop that up like that. So this is our motor. The only user serviceable things here are your washer fluid, brake fluid, and you've got coolant. Now this coolant, it's fairly warm, flows through the battery and it keeps the battery cool, regulates the battery's temperature. You've got, it's linked up with a fan down here. So this fluid is going to go down into the radiator, its own radiator, I assume. Some of you guys aren't that techie, but I am. Probably a radiator is cooling this off, and then that liquid should presumably flow also through the battery, which is pretty neat. Does it pop up? No, it's kind of, oh, it does pop up. I don't know what we're going to see under here. Nothing fancy. It's just a big old motor. Whole bunch of electronics, doohickeys going in there. You've got your 12-volt battery. Not even that warm. But yeah, that's your whole motor right there. The battery is obviously mounted to the bottom of the car. Like this. And I don't know any details about this stuff. Honestly, it's all brand new to me. You've got your ABS pump right there, which is linked up with your brake fluid, which is user serviceable. You've got your really easy visibility into your steering rack down there. That's pretty cool to see. Yeah, and then you've got your massive front axle right there, just right below where the battery hooks up. Very easy to get to headlight bulbs. So I can just give this a twist and it comes right out. Pretty nice. There's one there, one back there, and then one here, which is your turn signal, right? Yeah, that's your turn signal bulb. So if you want to service that with an LED in there, you probably could. Other here, even easier to get to these lighting elements, which is nice. It's windshield wiper fluid. There are some cool crash test videos online of this out of Europe, the European Transit Authority. Did some testing, so that's pretty much in there. Does this just close? Sure does. Nice seal here, though. That's kind of more of your like drag coefficient stuff too. You kind of want this. You don't want any induced drag on your car. What else? Well, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in the car and I'm gonna talk to you guys in the GoPro. That's the next step, because I gotta get home. So, say 2:30. Pretty cool car though. It looks nice. You know, cars these days have super boring colors, and this car comes in white, gray, silver, or blue. So, you know, there are enough boring ass shitty colors out there. Got more cup holders here. But see what I'm talking about? The one touchdown. You've got one touchdown for this, but all the other ones you gotta hold this down. It has electronic mirrors, but what doesn't now? You've got your steering wheel. When you drop this lever down, you can go forward and back. You can go up, down, but there's no left, right. So, that in there. The seat itself is completely manual adjustment. Again, weight savings. So you've got your pull bar right there. As far as ergonomics go, I'm not too thrilled with the ergonomics because, like, from here, this is hard, so that moves. This is moving in a little bit. So that's kind of hard, and then I don't have anything to put my knee on this side. It just kind of falls into this cave. When I was more comfortable and more forward, my knee is kind of rubbing on this thing here. Just a little bit annoying. I'm 6'3", 250. So that's kind of the thing here. But ergonomics, get that pretty easy. 2 more cup holders there. The Limited has a wireless Qi charger. This just has a hole. There's only 1 gear because it's electric. You've got heated seats. Your driving modes, it goes through your sport, regular, eco mode. Auto hold is nice. I like auto hold. That's your drive-through cheater hold. So when auto hold's engaged, for those of you not familiar with it, and your parking brake as well, when you let off the brake with auto hold engaged, it just sits there. And when you tap the gas, it will let go of the brake. It's really, really nice for drive-throughs and for red lights. Let's go. Well, let's start this thing up. Well, I got the GoPro going first, then we'll start it up. All right, here is the boot up phase. We got the key in my pocket. If you hit the power button, nothing happens. But if you hit the brake and hit the power button, it comes to life. It's a nice TFT display. You have over here on the right side your battery level, just like a gas gauge. So we're at like 90% or so, 92%. Over here is your range. You can never get rid of this, by the way. This range is always persistent. The only time it ever gets modified is when you engage cruise control, like that. And then over here is your pedal. This is basically saying, hey, buddy, you're recharging because you're off the pedal entirely. You're in eco mode. You're on the pedal about 30% or less. And power mode is when you start actually really decreasing your range at a faster rate than this. So if you remain in eco mode, this remains accurate. It will only increase if you're going down a long hill enough to regenerate lost fuel. So call it fuel, voltage, whatever. When you get onto power, such as flooring it, or on a super steep hill that even though you're only giving 30% throttle, it's having to work quite a bit, it'll start touching into that white power area. And that white power will deplete your battery. So, odometer, 89 miles, outside temp. We're in eco mode. If I hit the drive mode button over here, it changes over to regular or sport or back to eco. You got a whole bunch of other things over here, but nothing really matters too much. Here's my digital speed, which I like a lot. I can cycle through, and that's my my channel band selection. Sorry guys, down. But if I go to here, energy flow, that shows it's going to the battery or away from the battery. This is all data about my drive. I can go through the menus though and just do tire pressure and user settings, which is kind of nice. You got your settings over here. I'm just interacting with this little button right here. Once you hit cruise, this is your up and down speed, and then OK and cancel are pretty universal. Mode, we'll once again go through our bands, our stations. Volume up, down, voice controls, hang up or dial. Over here, this is our screen. I'll click the apps button. I've got a chance to do EV mode. So you've got energy information, how many stations are nearby. This is where you can actually modify those modes I was telling you about, which is great. You've got charging stations. So you could say, hey, you know, every day I leave work at 7 a.m. At 6:50, I want you to get the temperature starting to go up to this temperature, which is kind of nice for what day of the week. Eco levels of 4 out of 10. Settings, not much going on here. Go back to apps. We got Sirius XM information, subscription of course. This also has Hyundai Blue Link, which comes free for 3 years with a lease, so I've got it for free. And basically this allows me to see my car status, my charge level from my phone, also unlock the doors, start the vehicle, and turn the climate control on. Everything else here is pretty universal. If you are in apps, you can go over to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto as long as you are physically plugged into this USB port down here. Quick guide is probably the car's manual. Yep. And down here, when you go to auto, get your AC, you can do driver only, which is kind of nice, save some power. You'll see my thing was 111. But it starts to drop as soon as the AC is on. So one thing I'll mention that's kind of neat about this is, this was 117 and up to 110. What's neat about this is the range updates dynamically. When you're turning on, when you're turning on climate control, or if you're increasing the fuel, the gas usage, all that stuff decreases the range instantly, which is really nice. And this all turns off once you open this. You've got auto rain sensing head wipers on the base model. Here's your microphone for your speaker. You've got a nice little light right here, reading light, sunglass storage, and more buttons for various features, all related to the Blue Link stuff. Let's now cut over to the GoPro. Hey everyone, we're on the GoPro now. How's he doing? Okay, so we're gonna start driving, not riding. The car. So there is a it's an EPA or DOT law in the U.S. is kicking in. Well, no, it's not kicking in. It's been constantly proposed that all of these EVs make a sound. It's a whirring sound. And while it's not on the law book yet for all of the USA, because it keeps being reconsidered by different states and the feds, Hyundai decided to add it to this vehicle. So when I'm riding around at low speeds, oh jeez, that was hauling ass. Hey, the windows are down because I don't want to run the AC because I don't want to reduce my fuel economy. When you're going around at low speeds, you can hear it. And it's supposed to let pedestrians know that, hey, I'm coming. Because at this speed, the tire friction doesn't make enough noise. Hear the tunnel a little bit here. The kids looked. It makes it's like an alien sound. And I don't like it, but hey, you know, the kids like looked over quickly, like they heard it coming. It's pretty noticeable that a car is kind of passing by. Regenerative braking, it works. It's on the highest level in eco mode. Definitely noticeable. Heather was behind me earlier in my Golf R, and she confirmed that when I do let off the gas, above 20 miles per hour, I'll confirm in the manual, but above 20 when I let the gas off, my brake lights do light up during the most heaviest of the regenerative braking. So she confirmed that indeed, it does let people know behind you that you are braking, which is fantastic. Let's go back to auto mode. Auto. Now, in a situation where you got to pull into traffic, you're probably going to need to give it a little bit more throttle. The problem, though, is with these very, very narrow wheels and very narrow tires, giving it more than 50% throttle from a stop will result in a little bit of chirping while the tires try to get traction. They're very low rolling resistance, low energy tires from Michelin in a very narrow band. And what I mean by that, the width of the tires is super skinny. And so it helps make this car 136 miles per gallon equivalent. But the consequence is that you don't always have the most responsiveness. You get a lot of body roll, but also you get that chirping whenever you're coming from a standstill. Overall, comfort level, good. The tires do kind of count against you when you go through kind of off kilter, like potholes, but coming up from like a low grade to a higher grade during road construction, like or speed bump, you won't notice it because that transfers to the shock absorbers, but the tires themselves do count against you in kind of off kilter environments, and the regenerative braking really works. So right now I'm going downhill. I'm on the gas about 5%, and I'm doing a 25% recharge right now. So I'm maintaining my 50 miles per hour, and yet I'm still sending power back to the battery, which is awesome, right? So on a 5% plus grade, I've noticed that I'm regenerating, and right now I'm maintaining 58 miles per hour and going downhill, and I'm about to hit 2 bars of charge because I'm in a really steep decline. So that's kind of nice. And that may be normal for all EVs, but it's definitely noticeable, and the highest version of regen to me isn't a problem. I'm totally fine with this, as long as it means extended range, because this is, I think, the lowest range of any production electric vehicle right now. So it's the highest efficient, it's the most efficient, but at 136 miles of maximum range, and that becomes like 120 when you turn on the AC, and quickly you'll be at 100 miles range remaining. That means stopping every roughly 100 miles, or every 100 miles you're going to be looking for an electric vehicle charging station, which may not always be there within 100 miles of you, at least not in the direction that you're going. So this being really efficient also means it's lighter and therefore lower range, and therefore you're stopping more often. Now when you do refill, it's not going to be that expensive because you're not filling up a gigantic battery. I think it's like 28 kilowatt battery. And to give you a Tesla comparison, the lowest Model S is a 60 kilowatt battery, all the way up to 100 kilowatt batteries. So those are quite expensive to fill up. I know you Tesla people have free supercharging if you were grandfathered in, but my point is this is way cheaper to refuel than any other EV on the market that's production, but it also has the lowest range. They're kind of hand in hand there. The ergonomics are fantastic. The only problem I have being a tall guy is my knee is kind of in this awkward placement. So if you have short arms and long legs, you might be kind of uncomfortable. I kind of wish the center console here was higher up, allowing for a little bit more leg, lean. I come from a Golf R, and my Golf R, my legs are kind of pushed together a little bit. I've been regenerating with 2 bars this entire time. We've been talking, by the way. And I've actually gained back 2 of my miles of range. So I drove 2 miles and gained 2 back. Very nice. So in my Ford Escape, it's a very similar width. So I'm sure that most Americans kind of like the man spreading console, but I kind of like to be more, smaller space. I kind of like smaller spaces. And reachability, I can reach there. I can reach the door to open the door handle there. I can touch the kid's leg in the back seat. I got long arms. There's no sunroof on this model. The Limited does have a sunroof. And we are now, if I let off the gas completely, I get 3 bars of recharge, which is nice. Steering wheel has a flat bottom, which is nice. Used to be kind of something only sports cars had. And you've got these little divots out here where your fingers go. It's done to make it easier to hold on to. Makes a little sporty feel to it. Whatever. Horn works. I think it's auto headlights and auto wipers. Pretty nice. The sound system blows. It is terrible. And I did not notice a decrease in range by operating the sound system at full blast for like 2 minutes. Didn't notice it at all. I had some rock music going, bass was high, and it didn't seem to really cause any problems with the range at all. If there are a couple buttons that are kind of cool, so I like the AC being driver only. I like pressing the EV button and seeing exactly what's going on with the system. So those are two physical buttons. In an age where most vehicles are killing buttons, Hyundai retained the ones that you'll probably use most often. Clicking radio and then turning over to Sirius, clicking apps and clicking CarPlay, clicking the B button to make sure that your BlueLink service is up, and then of course pressing the AC on button, auto, and then pressing driver only, and the off button. All that is easy to get to. There's also two physical buttons for the heated seats, and I just came to a stop. I just came to about 10 miles an hour without needing to touch the brake. Nice, huh? The drive modes, I'm not going to play with them at all. My goal is to get the most range out of this vehicle as possible. What kind of buyer am I? That's kind of important to answer. I put about 6,000 miles per year on my two cars, well, combined 6,000 miles per year on my Ford Escape and my Golf R. I primarily only drive them in the winter time. So November to May is our New Hampshire winter where I live. And from May to September, I put about 10,000 miles on my motorcycles and about 1,000 miles total on my Golf R. So in total, I'm driving about 20,000 miles per year, 18 to 20,000 miles per year, but it's split between four primary vehicles. So why do I buy the Ioniq EV? Is it was super cheap. That's the only reason I bought it. I wasn't looking for a car. I didn't need a car. I didn't want another car. But I came across this lease deal for $75 a month. And I thought, you know what? During the wintertime, I spend about $100, $150 a month in gas on the Ford Escape. So perfect. Ford Escape can stay in the barn. Golf R is already going in the barn because it's not a winter car. And so this can become a new winter car for me. And in the summer, my girlfriend can use this car to go to and from work. This is the car for us. This is our use case. We are only going to use this in town for commuting. I don't find the time it takes to charge this thing to be convenient enough to do a road trip in it. I just did my first fast charging session, so we do have some 50 amp chargers in Vermont, thanks to Green Mountain Power. And it was 40% battery life. It took me to 94% battery life in 24 minutes. That's impressive, right? But it cost me $9.60. So that's pretty expensive considering that I only drove about 80 miles. So I drove 80 miles or 70 miles, and I had to then spend $9.60 to get back to full again. That is pretty damn expensive in my opinion. Now, the 50 amp charger is more expensive because time is a resource, and you can choose to spend more money to save time. That's why we have concierge services. That's why we have booking agencies. That's why we have butlers. That's why we have people that wait on you, personal assistants. If you want to spend money, you don't have to lift a finger. And that's kind of what our situation was today. We wanted to get tacos. We wanted to get back on the road. And so we spent $9.60 for about, and that's use the brakes, for about, let's see, 15 or 12 or 15 kilowatt hours of battery, which is pretty expensive. But if I were to do a level 2 charger, I think it would have been half that cost. And that's far more affordable, but then it would have been a 40 minutes to 1 hour of charge versus the 24 minutes it took with that situation. This comes with a basic home charger, which plugs into any wall outlet. Most companies call that the emergency charger. I agree. I do have a level 2 charger being installed at my house, but that's not going to be for another week or two. So I'm going to use the home charger. Back to why we have this car. We are going to use it for in-city commuting. My commute to work is 6 miles each way. Yes, Adam, just get a bicycle. I understand that. But I don't like riding bicycles. That's why I'm fat. So I have this now, which is going to get me, I'll do the 10 miles to and from work. I will put it in sport mode. I will haul ass all around my area. And then if I need to go run an errand during lunch, adds 5 miles to my day. but in essence, at most, on average, I do about 30 miles total. At the most, 30 miles total of driving on a weekday. That's the most I'll do on a weekday. And on the weekends, we have a Golf Sport Wagon, we have a Golf R, and we have a Ford Escape, and we have 4 motorcycles. So we don't need to, if we need to get somewhere that's more than 100 miles away, this stays home. Simple as that. And the deal I have with my insurance company, because I have everything insured through them, adding this wasn't that expensive, because what they do is they basically say, okay, 2 of you have 4 vehicles. You each can only drive about 15,000 miles per year. So we're going to split that risk over those vehicles, and it's going to be a much lower amount. So it's not just a multi-car discount, it's a multi-car discount given the mileage that we drive. So we're going to use that to our advantage. This is only going to be adding roughly the $75 per month for the lease. It's only going to be adding about $40 a month for insurance, maybe $30 a month is all said and done. And it will be adding at home about, I would estimate $1.50 to $2 per day at the very most for electricity for this thing. So hell of a deal, right? The final price of this in the 3 years is up, is I'll have to spend $13,500 to take over, to buy this and finance it, which in 36 months means I can get it for about $380 a month for 3 years, and then I'll own it outright. So I would have had it, so then it would have paid off on year 6. That's if I still like it after 3 years. I probably won't. But it does have the unlimited powertrain warranty, and supposedly an unlimited battery warranty, and a 60,000 mile or 6-year warranty on the entire vehicle itself. So pretty nice. I don't understand. I would assume that unlimited battery warranty only applies to the first owner, which means I would need to own this car for like 15 years before I need to actually replace the battery. And pretty cool. I need to look into more of the paperwork about that. That's pretty much it for my first driving review. I don't hate it. I'm a car guy, so for me to own one of these is insane. There's no turbocharger. There's instant torque, but there's super low peak torque, and it's not very fast. If I drive it fast, it's eating up the fuel economy. So right now I have the AC off. If I turn the AC on auto at 70 degrees, my range drops by 15 miles. And that's, I'm just going to put a window down basically, and if I'm not on the interstate. It's going to make me a more conscious driver, probably a more safer driver, because I'm not on people's asses. I'm not driving aggressively. I'm staying in eco mode this entire time I'm talking to you guys. In eco mode or regenerating mode, I never hit that white power thing. Even on White Bill right now, I'm still in the eco band. Steers okay, drives okay. The suspension is not Cadillac plush, but it's plush enough where the standard shitty northeastern roads that never get repaired are fine, right? I'm not moving around too much. Will I keep it? I think so. As long as I can financially afford to keep paying $75 a month, I'll hang on to it indefinitely until the lease is up. I don't foresee needing to transfer this out to someone else unless the car becomes a limit and I just want to get rid of it. But a lease transfer is possible with Hyundai. And if I don't keep it at the end of the lease offer, I owe them $400 to return the car back to them. A disposal fee. My lease is also 10,000 miles per year. I thought it was 12,000. But again, guys, I drive at most 20,000 miles a year combined, and I have to my own, not Heather, to my own, I have 4 vehicles, 2 bikes and 2 cars already. So I don't think I'll ever hit the 10,000 miles. If I hit 30,000 miles in the odometer in this thing before the 3 years is up, I'll just park it. Done. Fine. But the per mileage price is 20 cents a mile, which is insanely expensive. That's ridiculous. My work reimburses me 25 cents a mile for driving my own car or bike. So just give you guys a flavor of that. But for example, on Tuesday I'm flying out of the airport, which our nearest airport is about 75 miles away. Perfect. I fly out. I'll park in their extended stay lot for $8 a day. and then when I go to leave, I will plug in the car and fast charge it for an hour. No, D-level 2 it, charge it for about an hour, which is free at our airport for level 2 charging, and then go home. It's, you know, and having spent no gas money, and work will still reimburse me a quarter per mile. So for that, that's fantastic, right? I'll basically make back my first lease payment within the first 2 trips to the airport, which I'm taking 3 this month. So financially, it was a great deal. I didn't want a Hyundai, I didn't want an EV, and I didn't need any of this stuff, but for the price, I'm pretty excited. It's nice it's got CarPlay, it's nice it has heated seats. The limited trim has that heat pump, which have been really nice. Limited trim also has a heated steering wheel, so those would have been nice to haves. But overall, I would say for the price, I'm stoked. And I've been going downhill for the last like 4 miles, and I've been regenerating the entire time. Pretty awesome. So this is kind of my what's the word for it? First look at this vehicle. As I learn more things about it, and as I get more data points, I'll share them. I've noticed that some of the YouTube channels that focus on EVs are super popular. Like, you EV people are crazy. I'll never be an EV person, like a fanatic like you guys are. I will probably eventually make an EV my daily. And you know, in a way where like my Golf R becomes a pure track car, and I have an electric car and I have an electric motorcycle. But that's probably 10 years off. I would much rather buy as my next car and a CPO, as in like off-lease E46 AMG wagon, or an RS3 or RS4 Avant. I'd rather buy a V8 twin-turbo German wagon as my next car than to purchase an electric vehicle. But it's nice to get a glimpse in the future, and I hope that I'll keep you guys entertained with these videos. No modifications are planned, just going to drive it, enjoy the warranty, enjoy the low lease payment, and share with you any insights I get from the vehicle. All right, thanks for watching, and have a fantastic regenerating, yeah, day.